Here's the I formation on 2nd and 7. Twin receivers to the near side. Quarterback is Straub under center. Blacksburg in the 5-man front showing a blitz. Here's a pass to the near side, complete to Weddle. Flags are down. He crosses the 25 down to the 27-yard line, and on the play defending for the Bruins was number 21 on that tackle for Blacksburg, so it brings up a 3rd down and 3, but flags are down. Let's see what the call is.
Yeah, Josh Reynolds helping out on that tackle too, and didn't, once the ball was out there, they were right on, didn't let the runner advance the ball but a couple yards, and as you said, flags are down. Looks like it'll probably come back.
So it is. So let's see if it's from the line of scrimmage, and let's see what the official calls here. Legal motion, so back it up 5 yards, and it brings up 2nd down and 12. With 9:25 to go here in the first period, no score. So Botetourt coming out of their huddle, and Straub brings them to the line of scrimmage, pointing to some linebackers that he feels like need to be blocked. 2 tight ends, 2 receivers to the right and the left. In motion from left to right goes Weddle. Single setback is the running back Purdue. Here is the quarterback coming to the right side. He throws it down the right side. It's going to be complete to the wide receiver, and I believe it was number 4 on the roster, Tyler Landis, down to the Blacksburg 39-yard line. And once again, getting away from pressure, getting away from that backside pressure. Straub did a good job of escaping that and throwing down the field, but it looked like it went right through Greg Keys' hands.
It looked like Greg Keys was just playing outfield, waiting for the ball to come to him, and Lord Botetourt player stepped in front of him and took the ball away.
So 1st and 10 for the Cavs at the Blacksburg 39. That play was good for 44 yards. I formation, 1 receiver to the left, 1 to the right. Here's Straub, the quarterback under center. Tall sweep to the near side. Here comes Purdue. The scat back crosses the 40, moves the ball down to the 35, where he's knocked down there by Tyler Holmes. And also on the tackle was Aaron Barber, so it's going to be 2nd down. We're going to call it 7. So 3 yards on that carry for Purdue. Wide to the right goes Landis. Casey Weddle, the big threat here to the near side. I formation, ball sitting on the left hash, moving from right to left here at Bill Brown Stadium on this Friday night. Here's Landis, goes up the middle, crosses the 30 in the Blacksburg territory, down to the 25, and he falls down to the 23-yard line. And some 1st down yardage there for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, it looked like,
and once again, Zachary Santola, on that carry, but a big hole and a nice run.
And the hole looked like it's Zachary Ray pushing Devin right out of the center and making that space for him to run right up the middle.
So once again, Santola on the carry. He's the fullback now in the I, tied in to the right, 2 receivers to the left. Here's the handoff once again, goes to Marquise Purdue, and he gets the ball down to right around the 20-yard line. He picks up a couple on the play. We're going to call it 2nd down and about 7
yeah,
for the Cavaliers.
The flash by there for me was 6, of course. There's Tyler Holmes again on the tackle.
7:30 to go here in the first period. No score. It's Botetourt and Blacksburg here in this non-district action from Bill Brown Stadium. Tied in to the left, 2 receivers to the right, I formation. Straub, the quarterback under center, overlooking the Blacksburg defense. Calls the signals. Gets a little bit of movement from the Blacksburg defensive line, and I think it's going to be encroachment by the Blacksburg defense, so let's see if it goes 5 yards for the Cavs. It is offside, so instead of 2nd and 7, it's going to be 2nd and 2 now for the Cavs.
Yeah, it looked like Bo Gentry jumped.
So a long count by Lord Botetourt, comparatively speaking to what they have done, Harley.
Yeah, and they're making a nice drive out of it, and it's time for the little things to start adding up for Blacksburg.
So Weddle and Landis wide to the left. Here in the I formation, tied in to the right. The quarterback is Strong. The senior hands off to Marquise Purdue. He goes right up the middle. He's going to be stacked up right around the line of scrimmage as a host of Bruins on the play.
Yeah, he went right up the middle and was introduced to Tyler Holmes, who just filled that hole almost immediately.
And Tyler Holmes, Nathan Hawkins, both of them made a good hit on a play, so it brings up a 3rd down situation now for the Cavs. The nose of the football sitting on the Blacksburg 16. So another 3rd down crucial situation. Dave Chris talked about this and being able to stop teams in 3rd and crucial situations. Here's the quarterback, Straub under center. In the I formation, here's the handoff, goes to Purdue right up the middle. He's going to fall forward close to the 1st down as he moves the ball right to around the 14, and that's about where he needs to go. to get the first. And I think he didn't get it, so it's 4th down and short. And now Dave Chris sends in the big guys, Dale Davis and Aaron Overstreet, so he's getting the big guys, the big poundage in there.
Yeah, one of the things Coach said is they had yet to see the Botetourt kicker attempt a field goal. It looks like this may be the first one.
So kicking it is McNeil, and as we said before, this young man can kick it. He had a 38-yarder last week, so this is well within his range. They're going to spot it right at the 20, so this is a 30-yarder. There's a snap. The kick is down. It's up, and it's going to be good right through the middle. So with a timeout with the score, is Lord Botetourt 3, Blacksburg nothing. Let's pause and hear these words from our sponsors. You're listening to Bruin Football on 101.7 FM.
I want to make a difference, and change happens one person at a time.
Giving a little can go a long way.
I give to the United Way because I believe in helping in my community wherever I can.
All right, back at Blacksburg High School Stadium here at Bill Brown Stadium on this Friday night here at the kickoff, and returning it for the Bruins is Spencer Link, and brings the ball down to the 28-yard line. That drive for Botetourt was 9 plays, 66 yards, and they get 3 points out of it.
Well, at least, and the defense finally stood up and said, all right, this far, no farther. You get the 3 points, we'll let you try that, but you're not getting any farther. And, I talked about the battle of field position earlier. It didn't matter in that drive. Botetourt just said, we're taking it over now. And now it seems to me in the past couple of games also the Bruins have, spotted the other teams a couple of points right to start with, and then, whatever it takes to wake them up to get them going.
All right, Greg Keys and Tyler Holmes wide to the right. Trey Gresham the shotgun. Twin receivers to the left. 4-man front for the Cavaliers. Here's the running back, Latrell Keys, coming to the near side. Has some room, crosses the 25 to 35 down to the 40. It is going to be brought right down at the 40-yard line by the defensive end, Rodney Cooper. So Latrell picks up 12 on the play, and it's going to be a 1st and 10 for the Bruins.
With some good blocking downfield, including one from Greg Keys to help him get a few longer. I wish Greg had stayed on that block just a little longer and turned his opponent toward the outside with his back toward the outside. It would have given Latrell more of a lane and a little more distance down the field.
5:10 to go here in the first period. 3-0, Botetourt up here in this non-district game. Trip receivers to the left. Here's Trey Gresh, the quarterback, and he's going to hand off to Latrell Keys. Has a hole, but he's stopped right about the 42-yard line and brought down hard by the middle linebacker on that play, Darrell Stone. Darrell, 5'10", 225-pounder, and they said, watch out for this guy because he's big, he's fast, and he can hit.
Yeah, as a senior, he's got the experience to fill that hole kind of like Tyler Holmes for the Bruins.
So it's 2nd and 8. In the lineup for Blacksburg is Joey Phillips. Going wide left is Tyler Holmes and Greg Keys in the slot, tied in to the right. And here's the I formation. Trey Gresh, the quarterback, under center here on a 2nd and 8. And here's a play-action pass, goes to the far side, heads it complete to Greg Keys. He has the ball at the 50 inside Lord Botetourt territory. Down to the 46-yard line. He fumbled the football, but they're going to down it right at the 46. So a nice tossing catch from Trey Gresh to Greg Keys.
Yeah, they called him down, which is fortunate. So the dives for the ball afterwards, all for naught. But it's nice to see the heads up, the playing for the ball, to keep playing until you actually hear the whistle.
So that was good for 12. And the lineup is Woodell. Out comes Phillips. Wide to the right comes Greg Keys. In the slot is Josh Reynolds. Also in the slot is going to be Tyler Holmes. In the shotgun is Trey Gresh, the junior quarterback, getting his third-year starter on the quarterback keeper. Goes up the middle, gets the ball down to the 45, picking up about a yard on the play. 2nd down and 9, not much there.
Yeah, fakes a little Latrell Keys first off, and then so a keeper by the quarterback and get a yard out of it.
So Dave Chris signaling the play in here. 3:40 to go here in the first period. 3-0, Botetourt up. But Blacksburg on the move. Inside Lord Botetourt territory at their 45. Here are the trip receivers to the right. And Trey Gresh, the quarterback, back in the shotgun, or what we call the pistol set. Here he takes the snap and hands off to the running back, Latrell Keys. He moves right up the middle across the 40 to the 35, down to the 30-yard line, and Latrell picking up about 15 yards on the carry, so another first down for Blacksburg, and boy, that hole was wide open.
Did you say pistol? I think you said pistol, and I think that was the shot that came out of that pistol because he was moving.
Like a bullet. Wow. So a nice call by Dave Crest and a nice run by Latrell Keys. 15 yards on that play. 1st and 10 for the Bruins. Those are the football sitting right on the 30. Trip receivers to the right. Here's the quarterback, Trey Gresh, in the shotgun. He runs back into the pocket, comes to the near side. He's going to be stacked up right about the line of scrimmage. Nothing there. And I think that was just a busted play. And it looked like to me Botetourt was bringing some stunts on that play.
It looked like a busted play to me, too. And the quarterback read it, the receiver didn't, and wasn't on the same page to catch the quick out.
So Reese Whitsitt in the lineup now for Blacksburg. And he'll be the tight end. 2 receivers to the left. I formation. Trey Gresh under center on this second down play. Gresh on the play action pass. Rolls out to the far side, throws it down to Greg Keys, has it complete about the 21-yard line. It's going to be good for about 8 yards. So it's going to be 3rd down. We're going to call it 2. They spotted right about the 22. So a nice toss and catch from Gresh to Greg Keys.
Yeah, another fake handoff to Latrell Keys, and he then ran out for a pass in case, but throw to Greg Keys.
They are so well coached, Harley. I mean, you can watch it up here, and you can watch the fakes, and you can see how they freeze the linebackers. I mean, it makes that fake to Latrell. That's their focus. That's their first key.
Right, and that's what it should be, because as we saw a couple of minutes ago, or a few seconds ago, actually, Latrell can't beat a bullet out of that gun.
So 3rd and short for the Bruins at the 22. Here's 2 tight ends now in I formation. Handoff goes to Latrell over right tackle. Has some running in, crosses the 15 and booms his way down to the 10-yard line. And Latrell Keys picks up some big yardage, and it's going to be right at the 10. Let's see where they mark it. It may be 1st and goal.
Yeah, he's looking sharp now and leaving a trail of, Cavaliers in his wake.
Okay. I'm trying to look at it. Can he get into the end zone? Well, they can get it first just by inches.
By inches. It's just this side of the 10.
So it's 1st and 10 now for the Bruins. 1:16 to go here in the first period. Botetourt up 3-0. 2 tights. Keys wide to the right. Here's Trey Gresh. Hands off to Keys over the right tackle, and Latrell crosses the 10, gets the ball down to the 8-yard line, picking up 2 on the play. And Stone makes the tackle. It's going to be 2nd down. We're going to call it about 8. So Blacksburg threatening here in the first period. And we'll see if Dave just didn't let this clock run down. I'm not sure. I'm sure you want to get points here by the end of the quarter, but he's not that concerned about it.
I said something about a wake-up call. And it seems to me that 3 points that Botetourt got at the other end has woken up the Bruins.
All right, here we go. Trip receivers to the left. The ball sitting on the right hash, moving from left to right here in Bill Brown Stadium. Here's the handoff to Latrell Keys. He's brought down in the backfield. And a nice play from the defensive end. And on the tackle was Josh Reed for Lord Botetourt. And it's going to be 3rd down, and we're going to call it 8 once again. And Coach Christ calling his offense over to the sideline, and that's going to end the first period.
Yeah, that's going to do it for the first quarter.
So we're going to take a break as well. With the score, Lord Botetourt 3, Blacksburg nothing. Let's pause and hear these words from our sponsors. You're listening to Blacksburg High School football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
Why do I call it a funny bone?
Why can't penguins fly?
Like to see something. Can we go to the moon on vacation?
If you think it's tough answering these questions, imagine the ones you'll get if your child is diagnosed with cancer. CureSearch.org can help. It's run by doctors and scientists whose research has led to an overall cure rate of 78%. You're not as alone as you feel.
So Blacksburg moving from right to left now here, beginning of the second period, 3-0, Botetourt up on a 30-yard field goal by Troy McNeil. All right, here the Bruins now 3rd down and long, sitting at their own 8-yard line. Trey Grish, the quarterback, back in the pocket. Gets the football, throws it down the left corner of the end zone, and Tyler Holmes can't get to it, so it's going to be 4th down. And pretty good coverage there by the Cavaliers.
It was pretty good coverage, and Trey Gresh was under a bit of pressure, and the ball was overthrown, uncatchable, thrown right to the corner of the end zone. And even if Tyler Holmes had been there, I don't think he would have come back down with it inbounds.
So Caleb Violette will attempt the field goal. And they're going to spot it right about the 16, so this is good for 26 for Caleb. Well within his range. And here we go. Here's the snap. It's down. The kick is up, and it's going to sail through, and it's going to be good. So we're going to take a timeout with 11:51 to go here in the second period. The score, Blacksburg 3, Lord Botetourt 3. Let's pause and hear these words from our sponsors. You're listening to Blacksburg High School football here on Super Talk 101.7 FM. Back at Bill Brown Stadium, here's the kickoff. It's going to go out of the end zone, so the Cavaliers will take it over 1st and 10, moving from left to right on their own 20-yard line. 11:51 to go here in the second period, and it's all tied up 3-all.
We talk about Caleb Violette being a potential D1 kicker, but that last one, you called it good, and I'm thinking, I'm not quite so sure, but it did go through, so we do have a 3-3 tie, but that one looked a little ugly.
It's hard to tell from these angles.
It is hard to tell from these angles.
All right, here we go. 1st and 10 for the Cavs. And they have a receiver to the right and the left. Quarterback is Straub under center. 2 tight ends, single setback. In motion from left to right comes Casey Weddle. This is their go-to guy, the big gun for the Cavaliers offense. And here's a quarterback keeper, and Straub keeps it, crosses the 25. And then he's knocked down back to about the 24-yard line. Tyler Holmes on the play. Also on the tackle for Blacksburg was Nathan Hopkins. And a fumble, and Blacksburg will get it.
You know, I got to give Tyler Holmes credit for that one. He was chasing Weddle across the field from right to left, and the play went then to the left where he came from, but he turned around, got back, and made the tackle, and I believe he was the one that forced the fumble.
Yeah, he just fell on it, and there it was. We didn't even see the fumble. We just dropped it, and he fell on it, and that was it, and everybody just kind of stopped.
What did I say right before we came back? Steve, you were I was talking to Steve. I said, we need a fumble.
So here are the Bruins, 1st and 10 at the 23-yard line of Lord Botetourt. Trey Gresh, the quarterback, in the shotgun. Wide left is Keys, and in the slot is Tyler Holmes. 2 receivers to the right. Here's the snap, and Trey Gresh, the quarterback, back in the pocket. Spots his receiver, throws it right down the middle. It's going to be incomplete. Looking for Tyler Holmes. Good coverage, though. From the outside linebacker on the play was Rodney Cooper, 6'5", 215. And I got to tell you what, that guy's had some pretty big paws there.
Yeah, well, 6'5", 215. He's tall and he's got the big hands, and he moves real well for a guy that size. My disappointment was it looked like Trey was watching Holmes all the way and didn't look at Greg Keys down in the corner. He was covered 1-to-1 and probably would have had an easier shot at the reception.
Folks, if you remember the old Jerry Clearman defense, or anybody remembers the wide tackle 6, that's almost a wide tackle 6 type defense where your defensive ends drop off as linebackers and they get into DB coverage. All right, here we go, 2nd down and 10. Here's the snap back to Gresh on the keeper. Goes up the middle, crosses the 20, gets the ball down to the 19 where he's knocked down right there. So Gresh picking up about 5 on the play. It's going to be 3rd down and 5.
Tackled by 56 Costa for Lord Botetourt.
So Costa makes the play. 11:23 to go here in the second period. It's all tied up 3 apiece. And Dave Chris sending Joey Phillips in the lineup as well as Reese Whitsitt. For the Bruins, said they get a tight end in the lineup. 3rd down and 5. And the ball sitting on the, we're going to say right about the 18.5. Here is Keys wide to the left. Tyler Holmes wide to the right, I formation. Here's the play action pass coming to the near side. Here's the pass to the near side, goes to Joey Phillips. He has the ball down at about the 10-yard line where he's stopped right there. And then he's knocked out of bounds. And it's going to be a 1st down for Blacksburg. And once again, they're going to spot it right outside the 10-yard line and almost the same place they were here on the other side of the field, Harley. And
Yeah, John, I agree with you. Right outside the 10 of Lord Botetourt, right where they were, right at the end of the first quarter. Let's see if they can do better than a field goal this time.
So the Cavaliers pretty tough inside to go to a 5-man front. If you're here, you'll see them in a 5-3 typically. All right, here we go. Blacksburg, quick receivers to the right. Here's the quarterback, Trey Gresh. Hands off to Latrell Keys. Keys goes up the middle. He stopped right at the line of scrimmage and brought down by the inside linebacker, Josh Reed. So it's 2nd down and 10 as he gets nothing on that play.
Yeah, Botetourt was dialed in, knew right what was coming. Filled the hole right away.
So 2nd down, and Dave Chris sending in the signals. Trey Gresh now getting his team back in the huddle. Blacksburg 2-1 coming into this ball game. Lord Botetourt 2-3. So maybe there's a little bit of a game advantage for Botetourt as they've already played 5 games to Blacksburg's 3. Here we go. It's a 2nd down and long for the Bruins. Here's the pass to the far side. Has it complete to Tyler Holmes. He scoots his way down to the 5 into the end zone. Touchdown, Blacksburg. A nice toss and catch to Tyler Holmes right out to the right side at the line of scrimmage. He catches it. And once again, as we were talking about, Harley, it's that toss and catch, and then what you do with it after you get the football.
It's what you do with it, and he ran a figure S. I mean, it was around one, cut to the right to move it up the field around the other and into the end zone.
So the Bruins picked up 6 more here in the second period. It's now 9-3, and Caleb Violette now will attempt the extra point to extend this lead to 7. And here's the snap, and it's down. The kick is up, and it's going to be good. So we'll take a timeout with 9:42 to go here in the second period to score Blacksburg 10, Lord Botetourt 3. Let's pause and hear these words from our sponsors. You're listening to Blacksburg High School football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
If you don't clean up your room, the Board of Health is going to condemn it. You make that face again, it's going to freeze that way. If you don't get your blood pressure checked, you could have high blood pressure and not know it and die from a stroke.
And the Bruins will be kicking it off, leading 10-3 here with 9:42 to go here in the second period. Violet kicks it off, a high end-over-end kick. It's going to be right into the end zone, so the Cavaliers will take it over 1st and 10 at their own 20, moving from left to right. You can catch the replay of this game in every Blacksburg High School home game on WTOB, Channel 2 on Mondays at 7 p.m. and Wednesdays at 3 p.m. And you can also watch them anytime you want on the web at www.blacksburg.gov.
That's what I did. I went back and watched the game, and then I told my parents about it so they could watch it when they were in Michigan.
How about that? So you go right to the website. So 1st and 10 for the Cavaliers.
I was going to say, unfortunately, WTOB doesn't take out our mess-ups.
That's okay. Weddle comes wide to the right. Straub, the quarterback under center. I formation. Bruins up by 7 here in the second period. Here's Purdue. Scoots over to left tackle and finds himself hit right about the 23-yard line. He picks up about 3 on the carry. Tyler Holmes there along with Aaron Barber, and it brings up 2nd down and 7.
Yeah, Holmes was just shedding blockers to get over there, and the running back for Lord Botetourt dropped a couple of Blacksburg blockers to meet Holmes, and then Holmes, with a little help from his friends, finally got it down.
2nd and 7, 9:11 to go here in the second period. Tight ends to the right and the left. Straub, the quarterback, I formation. Here is Straub back in the pocket on play action. Gets some pressure from the backside, but keeps the football. He's going to be dropped back behind the line of scrimmage. And he's going to lose about 6 on the play. And as soon as I can get that number back here, and I believe that was Aaron Barber on the tackle, so it brings up 3rd down and long for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, the Bruins decided enough of this. We're going to blitz. They left single coverage out in the flat, but left no chance for the quarterback to even look upfield. There was so much pressure coming on him from the Bruins blitz.
Coming up here at halftime is Mike Burnup's going to be on the halftime show, one half of the Voices of Virginia Tech. Here the Cavaliers on 3rd and long. There's the quarterback, Straub, back in the pocket on play action. Comes to the near side, looks for a receiver down the field. It's going to be intercepted, almost intercepted by Greg Keys, right in and out of his hands. So it's going to be 4th down, and the Cavaliers will punt it away with 8:16 to go.
The pass slightly behind Greg Keys did a great job to even reach back and have a shot at it, did knock it down, and prevented the completion.
So McNeil will come out and punt it away for Lord Botetourt. Greg Keys standing back at his own 41.
if you talk about momentum and body language, it looks like Botetourt is down a little bit and didn't quite have the swagger they did when they drove the ball down the field in the first quarter.
So here's a snap to McNeil. He kicks the ball. It's a wobbly kick taken by Keys back in his own 47. He comes to the near side, has little running room. Good coverage by the Cavaliers as he's knocked down about the 46-yard line. So the Bruins will take it 1st and 10 inside Lord Botetourt territory with 8:05 to go here in the second period. And once again, another opportunity for the Bruins to move this ball into the end zone.
Foley was the first one to get to Greg Keys, and instead of going for the tackle, he went for the ball. He was trying to strip the ball out.
1st and 10 now for Blacksburg. And Trey Gresh brings his Bruin offense out to the line of scrimmage with a 7-point lead.
And talk about field position again. They're starting on the Botetourt side of the 50.
And Greg Keys limping a little bit here as he's wide to the left. One receiver wide to the right, I formation. Here's Gresh, the quarterback, hands off to Latrell. Keys over to the right side, gets some running room, crosses the 40 down to about the 37-yard line, and Latrell picking up 7 on the play, and they're going to spot it about the 36, so he picks up about 9 on the play, 2nd and 1, but Latrell Keys going right off tackle and scoots out to the outside and gets some big yardage, and Blacksburg once again on the move.
Yeah, and carried Tyler Landis for another couple of yards.
All right, 2nd down and short. In the lineup is Woodell. And back in there is Joey Phillips.
You talked about Greg Keys limping a little bit. He did that a little bit in the first quarter as well.
Keys wide to the left. And Woodell, I think it is wide to the right, I formation. Here's Trey Gresh, the quarterback, back in the pocket, throws it deep down the left side, has Greg Keys up, and he has it. Touchdown, Blacksburg. And Trey Gresh on a perfect tossing catch to Greg Keys, the wideout, and Blacksburg puts 6 on the board with 7:18 to go. Now they extend that lead to 16-3.
There was a no limp on that run at all. He was flying down the sideline, and Trey Gresh just showed his ability again, just laying the ball right in the hands of Greg Keys.
So 2 plays, 36 yards on that toss and catch, and Caleb Violette will attempt the extra point. I just kind of wonder if he was just kind of fooling the defensive back on that play. Here's Violette for the extra point attempt. It's up, and it's going to go through. It's going to be good. So we'll take a timeout here with 7:18 to go here in the second period. The score, Blacksburg 17 and Lord Botetourt 3. Let's pause and hear these words from our sponsors. You're listening to Blacksburg High School football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
Okay, we've got 2 8 o'clocks and then 8:30. I'm on my way. Haven't forgotten anything? Of course I haven't forgotten anything. Are you nuts? I'm a little bit more professional than that. There's just not enough hours in the day.
You know, there's easier ways to get internet on the go. Select Blacksburg Transit buses now offer free Wi-Fi wireless internet to facilitate all of your online needs. Just look for the Wi-Fi sign. Blacksburg Transit. Take a ride on the Information Superhighway.
Two plays, 45 yards, and Blacksburg put 6 more points on the board, leading 17-3. Here's a kickoff, and once again, Caleb Violette kicks it out of the end zone. So the Cavaliers will take it 1st and 10. Once again, moving from left to right for those who have been in Bill Brown Stadium. That's west to east.
I want to thank the Blacksburg wrestling team. They're doing a little fundraiser before the game and offering up barbecue. We want to thank them for that wonderful sandwich. And if you're coming before the other 2 home games against Cave Spring and Salem, and you want to get here a little early, they'll be happy to help you out.
I think that's plural.
Fundraiser for the Blacksburg wrestlers.
All right, here we go. The Cavaliers 1st and 10, moving from left to right. Here's Straub, the quarterback, throws the ball out to the far side, and he has Casey Weddle, I think it is, down to about the 22, picks up a couple on the play. And it's going to be 2nd down and 8. I was going to say it was more than 1, wasn't it?
I don't know. How many did you eat?
I didn't have a thing. You didn't bring me anything. You were supposed to bring me something and didn't. How many stayed? Like 2 or 3 at least. But they did have some great barbecue. You could smell it from here. I didn't have a sandwich. I didn't have a bit. All right, Here we go. 2nd down and 8 now for Botetourt.
If that story helps you sleep, John, that's fine.
Twin receivers to the right, I formation. Here's Straub, the quarterback, back in the pocket. Here's a pump and go. He throws it down the far side. It's going to be broken up. Intercepted by Greg Keys. Great coverage on the wide out for Botetourt, the intended receiver.
It's 86.
Was number 86 on that play, and that was Hunter Foley. So 1st and 10 now for Blacksburg at the 49-yard line of the Bruins. But great coverage by Greg Keys, and it went right into his hands. You know, that's the second time he's been in position tonight to make a play.
In position to make the play, and just reached up there and did fight for the ball to get it away from 86. And, you know, makes the interception just on timeout now, just on the Blacksburg side of the 50. Timeout, Lord Botetourt.
So the Cavaliers want to take a time to think about this, and we're going to pause as well. You're listening to Blacksburg High School football right here on Super Talk 101.7 FM. Back at Blacksburg High School, 17-3, the Bruins lead this with 6:32 to go here in the second period. And the last series, 2 plays, 45 yards, a nice 36-yard strike from Trey Gresh to Greg Keys. And the Bruins once again on the move, and, you know, we'll get some yardage up here in just a second. Blacksburg right now, I can get Steve here, 137 yards of total offense. And, you know, once again, they're approaching that mark of 200 yards at halftime. They usually average at about 250 at halftime, Harley.
Which is an excellent output. And I was thinking, you mentioned Greg Keys got the touchdown pass. The next play from scrimmage, Greg Keys makes the interception.
Yeah. All right, so we go 1st and 10, twin receivers to the right, I formation. Here's Trey Gresh, the quarterback on play action, goes to the right side. Here's a pump and go, throws it to the outside, has it in and out of the hands of the receiver at the 38-yard line. And I think that was Josh Reynolds, the intended receiver, so it's 2nd down and 10.
I only mention that because we think about our Fast Signs player of the game, and it looks like Greg Keys right now is the leading candidate.
He's definitely in the front row at the moment. 2nd and 10 for Blacksburg at their own 49. Up by a couple of touchdowns here in the second period. I formation. Receivers to the right and the left. Here's a handoff, goes to Latrell Keys. Scoots right up the middle, crosses the 50 into Lord Botetourt territory, down to the 45, down to the 40-yard line. And he's going to fall forward right about the 40, so Latrell picks up about 9 on the carry. It's going to be 3rd down and 1.
It was the same formation, the same play that they ran the play before that. This time, instead of faking the handoff to Latrell, they made the handoff, and of course that, because the play before had gone to a pass, fooled Lord Botetourt a little bit and gave Keys a little more running room.
So Latrell Keys, 65 yards, 10 carries for 65 yards on the night.
It's a timeout on the field for measurement.
And let's see what the officials are going to do here. It's going to be very close. I think it's going to be short by a nose of a football. Yeah, we're talking just a couple of inches. So brings up a 2nd and short for Blacksburg.
2nd down short. I think you make a toss for the end zone here. You got the running back that can pick that up pretty easy.
He very well could. He might do that on this play. I mean, he figures that he could get that on 3rd down.
Right.
Excuse me, it's 3rd and short, so I think they're going to go for it. And with 6:13 to go here in the second period.
Okay, well, 3rd down, now they'll probably just make the run.
So Keys comes wide to the left. Wide to the right goes Trenton Woodell for Blacksburg. Here's the I formation. Handoff goes to Latrell over right tackle. Scoots to the outside. Crosses the 40 out of bounds at about the 38-yard line. So Latrell picking up 3 on the play. Gets the first, and Blacksburg continues this drive.
Yeah, plenty of room up the hole up the center, and then off to the right and right into the Lord Botetourt bench. In fact, knocking it over.
So on the tackle, Rodney Cooper was there. I like this Cooper, this defensive end, 6'5", 215, and just a junior. Young man has some wheels. He can get out there. He can cover some ground. 1st and 10 now for Blacksburg at the Botetourt 37. First and 10. Wide receivers to the right and the left. I formation. And here's the handoff. Goes to Latrell Keys. Scoots to the inside. Now goes back to the outside. Goes up the middle. Crosses the 20, the 30, down to the 25, down to about the 23-yard line. And Latrell Keys finds some running room there. And it's another 12, 13 yards on the carry and another first down for the Bruins.
Yeah, play designed to go to the left. All the blocking was pushing everybody out of the way to the left. It didn't open up a hole, however, so Latrell Keys hit the brakes. And you could see the turf flying when he did that, cut back up toward the right and center, and made a whole bunch of yards out of it.
First and 10 at the Botetourt 23. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, and Trey Gresh, the quarterback, back in the shotgun with Latrell Keys in the backfield. And the handoff goes to Latrell over right tackle. He's stacked up right at the line of scrimmage as 3 or 4 Cavaliers are there on the tackle, including Cooper, the defensive end. Also there was the middle linebacker, Darryl Stone.
With as much work as Latrell Keys is doing, he was probably just happy there for the break.
So second down, a loss of 2 on the play, second and 12.
The group hug.
Mike, that's what it looked like.
That's what it was.
We're going to have a meeting right here. The party's going to happen right here at about the 25-yard line.
Everybody meet at Latrell.
Wow. So second and long now for the Bruins. And it seems like, and Dave Chris talked about that yesterday, or talked about that with us Wednesday, it's going to be tough to run up the middle against these guys. They're pretty big, pretty strong, and very aggressive.
Yeah, every time they run toward the middle, they're running, taking a step to one side or the other to get through.
All right, Gresh, the quarterback, back in the pocket, throws it to the near side, has Greg Keys on a toss and catch. Greg breaks free, passes the 10 to the 5, touchdown Blacksburg. And once again, there's that little throw to the outside, and Greg Keys again. Once he gets that football, catches it, it runs into the end zone, 6 points. So with 4:39 to go here in the second period, Blacksburg up 23-3.
It was a great burst of speed, but I got to tell you that Botetourt just looked like, oh, there he goes. They just not look like they're really making a whole lot of effort. 86 Foley just kind of reached out for him, caught it nothing but air, and didn't make the chase. Just let Greg Keys run right into the end zone.
So 25-yard touchdown reception from Trey Gresh to Greg Keys. And here's Caleb Violetta attempting the extra point for the Bruins. And there's the snap. The kick is up, and it's going to go through. It's going to be good. So with 4:39 to go here in the second period, the score, Blacksburg 24, Lord Botetourt 3. Let's pause and hear these words. You're listening to Blacksburg High School football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
Second team, respond to male subject, difficulty breathing, chest pain.
Your neighbors helped save a life last night. Be a volunteer. You can help save a life. You provide the time, we'll provide the training. To learn more, call the Blacksburg Rescue Squad at 961-1189.
Six plays, 51 yards, and a 25-yard toss and catch from Trey Gresh to Greg Keys. Blacksburg a 24-3 lead. Here's the kickoff. It goes to the up guy, Casey Weddle. He crosses the 20 to the 25 and knocked down at about the 26, and flags are down back at about the 20. So it's going to be first and 10 for the Cavaliers. Let's see what the flag is. It is against Lord Botetourt.
Looked like block in the back.
So from the spot of the foul, that's going to bring it half a distance to the goal. So it's going to be first and 10 from around the 10. That doesn't help, Harley. Doesn't help the call.
You know, that foul right in front of the referee.
So first and 10 now for the Cavaliers. They're down by 21 here in the second period. 4:32 to go. Wide to the right comes Tyler Landis. Wide to the left goes Casey Weddle. Here's Straub, the quarterback, under center. Tight into the right I formation. Marquise Purdue, the running back. And here's a handoff, goes to the fullback at the middle. He's hit right around the 13-yard line, knocked down by Nathan Hopkins. And it brings up second down and 7. And Santonis on the carry, so not much there. Coming up at halftime is going to be Mike Burnett, the one half of the Virginia Tech ISP Sports Network broadcast team. And we interviewed him a little bit earlier today. It's a little taped interview, and but he has a lot to say about tomorrow's game, homecoming for the Virginia Tech Hokies against North Carolina. Here's Straub handing off to Purdue. Purdue over the left tackle. He's brought down outside by the outside linebacker for Blacksburg, Brandon Brodkin. So it brings up third down, and we're going to call it about 6.
was watching Patrick Nichols on that for Botetourt. In the play prior to this, he carried it a little past the whistle. Didn't get a flag on it, but that was some of the crowd reaction was looking for that. And his teammate, number 4, trying to settle him down, and that second play, he just did his job, got the block.
Weddle in the slot and Landis wide to the right. Here's Straub, the quarterback, back in the pocket, under a little bit of pressure. Now he keeps the football. He's going to be brought down back behind the line of scrimmage by Tyler Holmes at about the 15-yard line, so a loss of 6 on the play. It's going to be up 4th down, and the Cavaliers will punt it away.
Yeah, Adam Siegel did a great job of making the quarterback kind of re-clutch on the ball. Siegel almost got the ball, almost knocked it loose for a fumble, but certainly did rattle the quarterback a bit.
He got the ball right back to the line of scrimmage, so it's 4th down and 6, and once again McNeil will punt it away deep for Blacksburg as Greg Key standing back at his own 49-yard line. Here's the snap here. The kick is partially blocked, and it's going to go out of bounds right about the 25-yard line, depending on the spot, and Blacksburg got to it. I wasn't sure who got it. Joey Phillips was there also.
Phillips, number 9, yeah.
Also was on the play was Robert Sterrett.
Phillips is the one that had the block and then ran into the kicker. No foul because he had the block.
So 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line for the Bruins. Once again, moving from right to left. Leading 24-3. 2:41 to go here till halftime. And Trey Gresh brings the Blacksburg offense out to the line of scrimmage, and so far they've got 187 yards of total offense, right on the mark for the first 2 quarters, that they've done this all year. Here's Gresh, the quarterback, on play action, gets some pressure from the backside. He's going to be brought down back at about the 27-yard line, and there's the defensive end, and we said it before, watch out for this guy, Rodney Cooper. 6'5", 215 makes the play, and loss of 5, so brings up 2nd down and 15.
Yeah, he was a Tiger after that ball, after that whatever the prey is for Tigers, that's what he was after with Trey Gresh, and Trey Gresh had no chance to get the ball away. Did a good job not to fumble it away.
2nd down for the Bruins, and the clock moves. 2:08 to go. Twin receivers to the right, and that's going to be Josh Reynolds out there along with Greg Keys. I formation, the ball sitting on the left hash. Here's Trey Gresh, the quarterback, on play action once again. Rolls out to the right side, throws it down the right side. It's going to be incomplete, and there's a diving Josh Reynolds as he goes after the football, but can't get to it, so it's 3rd down and long now for the Bruins.
A little out for Josh Reynolds and a little short for Greg Keys, who was about 5 yards further down the field, both running toward the sideline. And the pass just wasn't aimed right for either one of them.
So Trey Gresh now coming to the sideline and getting a play from Coach Christ, and in the lineup for Blacksburg comes Tyler Holmes. So you know they're going to be looking deep to the end zone on this one.
One of the things that looks to be having a little bit of a challenge is it looks like Trey's having a little bit of a challenge getting the ball from center.
So anyway, their timeout is called by Blacksburg. We'll pause for this 30-second commercial break. Stay tuned. More coming up right here on Blacksburg High School Football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
You can turn the world on with a smile. Well, it's you, girl, and you should know it.
The best way out is by coming in. Going to family learning programs helps you and your family lead better lives. Call 1-877-FAMLET-1 because making it, after all, shouldn't just happen on TV.
Hey, thanks, Tom. Radford tied up there with Robert Trading. That's a great football team. Both teams looking to Coach Saunders there in the first year as a Radford High School Bobcat as a coach. He was a player back there in the early 90s. Trying to take that program over from North Lindbergh and taking it back to the heights of where they were here in the past 2 or 3 decades.
Botetourt calls a timeout.
Botetourt wants to take a timeout. We're going to stay right here, and let's talk about tomorrow homecoming for the Virginia Tech Hokies. That they take on North Carolina, and the Tar Heels, you know, I just got to say they're not very impressive. And Virginia Tech, this is the game Virginia Tech should win, but once again, it's a struggling team when it comes to the offensive line for Tech.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll get stuff together. I know what we're going to talk about at halftime with Mike, so I don't want to give that away because that's a lot of good information there, a lot of good insight that Mike's got. So you want to stay tuned for that at halftime here on Super Talk 101.7. But The thing that I've noticed, because I'm going to get away from the actual play of the game and let you guys talk about that at halftime. But what I've noticed driving around in Blacksburg today is how many out-of-state North Carolina license plates there have been. So look for them to have a pretty good-sized crowd in Lane Stadium tomorrow.
And you can hear that game on our sister station, 105.3 The Bear. And that's Virginia Tech ISP broadcast. Tomorrow starting at 10:30. All right, here we go. Blacksburg with the football, 3rd and long at their own 26-yard line. Here's Trey Grish. The quarterback hands off to Latrell Keys up the middle. He's knocked down right about the 24. And on the tackle was that big linebacker once again, Darryl Stone. So it brings up 4th down, and here comes Caleb Violet to kick the field goal. Yeah,
Dave was looking to try and make everybody think pass and then make a run up the middle. But as you said earlier, John, there's really not a lot of room to run up the middle against Lord Botetourt.
So they're going to spot it right at the 31. This is a 41-yard attempt. And as I say before, this is well within his range. He kicked a 47-yarder against Giles back in the first game of the season.
It was 54, too. He had a 54-yard one.
No. That was Cody Jurnell from Giles. All right, here we go. Here's the attempt, 31-yarder, 41-yarder. There's the kick. It's high enough, long enough, and it's going to be good. Right to the left upright. So a 41-yard field goal by Caleb Violet. That might have been good from 50.
Well, I'm just going to let it be in my head that it was 54.
So anyway, with 1:05 to go here in the second period, the score is Blacksburg 27, Lord Botetourt 3. Let's pause and hear these words. You're listening to Blacksburg High School football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
Do you know that stroke targets by color? Odds are, if you're African American, you're twice as likely to suffer a stroke as white Americans. Know where you stand, because beating the odds isn't about winning, it's about living. Join the power to end stroke at strokeassociation.org.
And Caleb Violet kicks it out of the end zone. So 1st and 10 now for the Cavaliers, and Blacksburg leading 27-3.
We mentioned the Giles game, and I'm looking at the scoreboard right now. Blacksburg up now by 24. At the halftime in Giles, they were up by 23. So this game is nowhere near over. Hopefully the Bruins won't let happen to them again what happened in Giles. And Lord Botetourt can do this. Lord Botetourt's a pretty good team. They can come back from this. There will be halftime adjustments, so we'll see what happens in the second half. You're going to want to be here for that.
Here come the Cavs, and 1st and 10 at their own 20, and sacked back behind the line of scrimmage. And the tackle for Blacksburg was Eric Howard from his outside linebacker spot, and drops Straub back at his 15, so it's 2nd down and 15 now for the Cavaliers, and he didn't even see him coming.
Oh, he was just slid around from the backside, and no, he never saw it coming.
Good gracious.
Which is the best way to tackle.
Absolutely. So 2nd down for the Cavs. Clock shows 40 seconds, and I'm sure Coach would run this clock out, not give Blacksburg another opportunity. Straub, the quarterback, twin receivers to the right, I formation. And the handoff goes to Purdue over left tackle, has a little bit of running room, crosses the 20 to the 25, moves the ball down to the 27 where he's knocked down by Tyler Holmes at that spot. So it's 3rd down, and we're going to call it about 3.
Yeah, and Botetourt's going to want to try and get the 1st down and not leave any time left. Although with 9 seconds left, they'll probably just get it run out now.
So here comes the last play of the second quarter here to end the first half, and Straub is going to hand off to Purdue over left tackle. He's brought down right about the line of scrimmage, so that's going to end the first half.
But I got to give it to Botetourt. They didn't just take a knee and try and run the clock out. Even though there were a couple of timeouts left for Blacksburg, they didn't just stop. They kept trying. They kept trying to move the ball, and you got to give them credit for that.
Absolutely.
Missed the last town council meeting? Need to know what was on the agenda? How did the members vote? Now you can have access to town happenings 24 hours a day at www.blacksburg.gov. Click on Online Video and choose the meeting you want to watch. And there is more than just town council meetings. You can see other WTOB shows like Energy, the Historic Lecture Series, and Dodgeball. Just go to your computer and log on to www.blacksburg.gov and click on Online Video. Just one more way WTOB is your Blacksburg Community Access Station.
Whether it's arts and culture, community events, great places to eat and shop, exciting athletics. You'll find it all in Blacksburg, the place to be.
Back at Blacksburg High School, 27-3 here at the halftime, and Bruins have just rattled Lord Botetourt here in the second period. And this is how it went in the first period with 5:35 to go. Troy McNeil hit a 30-yarder for the Cavs, and they went up 3-0, and then it was all Blacksburg from that point in the second period, 11:51 to go. Kayla Violet, a 26-yarder to tie it up at 3-all. And with 9:42 to go, the Bruins, Tyler Holmes, a 10-yard TD pass from Trey Gresh, and that gave Blacksburg a 10-3 lead. Of course, Kayla Violet hitting the extra point. And then with 9:18 to go in the second period, Greg Keys, a 37-yard touchdown pass from Trey Gresh, and a Kayla Violet kick made it 17-3. And in 4:39 in the second period, Greg Keys, a 25-yard pass from Trey Gresh, and a Kayla Violet kick made it 24-3.
But in between there, Greg Keys' interception.
And a Greg Keys interception, absolutely. And then 1:05 to go in the second period, Kayla Violet hit a 41-yarder to make it 27-3, and that's where we are here in the at halftime.
You're talking about how lopsided it has been score-wise with the Bruins over Lord Botetourt. But if you look at time of possession, Steve pointed this out during the interview you had with Mike. If you look at the time of possession, it's pretty even. It's 11 minutes for Lord Botetourt and 13 minutes for Blacksburg. So Blacksburg hasn't had the ball a real advantage that way. The advantage Blacksburg has had has been field position.
Absolutely, and of course you can go back to the block punt, which set up a score.
The block punt, the interception, the fumble recovery.
Absolutely. So Blacksburg's defense has really come to play. Special teams has come to play as well. Here are some of the stats. Halftime, first downs, Blacksburg has 10. The Lord Botetourt Cavaliers have 2. Blacksburg has 18 rushes for 86 yards. They are 6 of 12, and that's Trey Gresh passing the football for 100 yards for a total of 186 yards. And that's pretty much what Blacksburg has done all year. They've been over 200 every game up to this point. This is the first game they haven't
at halftime.
At halftime has not had 200 yards. So anyway, I guess you could credit Lord Botetourt for doing that.
Yeah, and part of that is they kept the ball for at least a quarter of the first half.
And for Lord Botetourt, they have 2 first downs. They've rushed the ball 16 times for 38 yards, and they're 2 of 6 passing with 1 interception for a total of 46 yards. And 22 offensive plays, 84 yards for the Cavs, 30 for Blacksburg, and 186.
And one of the other things in that set of statistics that Stephen pointed out, and I'm giving Steve credit because he knows more about stats than I do, is that he's chuckling now. It's true, though. Got to give him credit. Is that there were no third down conversions for Lord Botetourt.
Right.
I remember I was talking about third downs, and they had a 3rd and 4 down at the Blacksburg end of the field, and you were talking about this is where Dave Chris says that we need to prevent the opponent from converting their third down, and that's exactly what Blacksburg did. That's when Lord Botetourt got their field goal, and that was the last real offense that they've had.
Yeah, 0 of 5 on third down conversions for Lord Botetourt. Blacksburg 3 of 6. So Blacksburg converting on 50% of their third down plays.
You did go to school.
I went somewhere.
Because I saw
it might have been Michigan State. I almost figured that one out.
There.
Who does Michigan State play tomorrow?
Michigan State has to take on Wisconsin at Wisconsin.
They don't have to play Appalachian State. Or maybe Wolford. You saw where Wolford beat Appalachian State last
Yes,
week.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, Michigan State taking on
so far up to this point, Wolford should be playing in the Rose Bowl. Is that right, Steve?
Turn your mic off.
Yeah. That's what I would think.
In Madison. And the Badgers are 7-point favorites. Last I saw. Kickoff is 3:30 tomorrow.
That would be a pretty good game, though.
So you can watch the Tech game, which I think is locally on Channel 7, and then you can watch the Michigan State game on ESPN, I believe.
We'll see if we can't get an update on tonight's game, which I think is the biggest game in college football up to this point.
We'll see
South Florida and West Virginia.
Tom, see if you can take care of that and give us an update next time we get a break.
Absolutely, because I'm going to tell you what, that's a huge game for the Big East. Because if South Florida wins this, South Florida was 1 game away from going to the BCS last year. This could be it for them if they get the win tonight. man, that's going to be a good road for them, and to just take the Big East. Of course, you still got Rutgers to play, you still got Louisville to play, but my goodness, Louisville's proven they can be beaten, and Rutgers is pretty tough though.
Yeah, the Cardinals just kind of. I'm very disappointed.
They got
in
the wings
Cardinals.
clipped.
Yeah, you can say.
To say the least.
Want to thank Tom Gilman back in the studio, doing a great job with the running the game for us. And, of course, our stat guy, Steve, I never remember his last name.
Steve Fortner.
Don't know why. It's just one of those things, I guess. We also want to thank our sponsors again, Tilson State Farm, New River Nissan, Price Body Shop, Valley Landscaping, Blacksburg Auto Parts, Frank Spicer Cox PC, South Main Auto. Of course, the halftime show brought to you by Carillion of the New River Valley. Fast Sign sponsoring our player of the game, and H&H Carpet joining the team as well. If you'd like to be on the team on Monday morning, make sure you call Cumulus of the New River Valley, and we'd be happy to get you on the team and on the air as well. Of course, the bonus is with all the home games, you also get mentioned with when we do the sponsor mentions. You also get that on WTOB because they're using our audio, and we'll rebroadcast the game, taping it tonight. They'll run it again on Monday and Wednesday, John, and then it's on the internet.
Exactly, Mondays at 7 p.m., Wednesdays at 3 p.m., and you can catch it on the internet. And your grandparents or parents watch it up in Michigan.
My daughter's grandparents, okay, my parents.
So they watch it on www.blacksburg.gov. Catch that game. Hear our wonderful voices all over the world.
Okay. Oh, now I'm just scared.
Oh, man. Anyway, we're going to be waiting kickoff here in just moments, and we still got about 4 minutes here until halftime. We're going to take a break real quick, take a 2-minute timeout. You're listening to Blacksburg High School football live from Bill Brown Stadium. Let's go back to the studios for a commercial break. You're listening to Bruin Football at 101.7 FM.
There is a better way to have fun with history. Visit americaslibrary.gov. Log on, play around, learn something.
Okay, so South Florida up by 6.
Tom, thank you very much. But it's early.
It's early. It's early into the first period.
First quarter.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Anyway, a lot more for West Virginia on the line here because you got a couple of Heisman Trophy candidates here.
Slayton and
White. So, both of these guys looking for...
we talked a little bit about Louisville before this, and they are going to, I just used to live in Louisville, and it's a great town, but West Virginia is going to tear them up.
Oh, man. Well, they miss Bobby Petrino, I can tell you that much. Anyway, talking about Lord Botetourt, Taylor Benson, the head coach at Lord Botetourt, has done a good job there, but one of his assistants is Elton Tolliver. Elton, who was a great defensive end for the UVA Cavaliers a few years ago, and Elton has been in the coaching, has been in the officiating, and he's been around the block, but back here at Lord Botetourt High School where he played back in the 80s, and big defensive end and a good one. So it's nice to see the guys coming back home and contributing.
It is. It's you owe a lot to your high school sometimes not so much. Sometimes you just want to get away. Sometimes, though, you do owe a lot to your high school and have that sense of nostalgia and want to pay back a little bit. And once you get through some of your life experiences, it's good to come back and share those with the kids.
Now, I want to talk about, we were talking with Mike Burnham about some of the players that came out of here.
Wait a minute. Here we go.
And
now you go.
Well, yeah, here we go. I have to mention this because you're talking about recruiting and this area becoming another hotbed of recruiting. I mean, we've got some Division I recruits out here tonight.
Oh, yeah.
As well as at Pulaski. We have definitely at Salem. You have some at Christiansburg. But when you look at the New River District, or the old New River District, right now the River Ridge District, and you're talking about Pulaski County, who has 2 kids in the NFL right now. You're talking about King and Graham. One playing for the Panthers, a tight end. In fact, he got another touchdown pass last week. And, of course, Graham kicking for the Cincinnati Bengals. Then you go down to Cave Spring High School, you're talking about Tiki and Rondé Barber, who came out of that school. So, now they weren't in that district when they were here. They were in AAA back then. But still, there's that kind of talent that still exists in this area.
Yeah.
So, these names we're talking about now, and especially we got one over in Giles who plays in the Three Rivers District, and Cody Journell. And that young man is going to be kicking for somebody somewhere down the road here in the future.
Yeah, and very talented not just to Cody Janelle, but of course Caleb Violet here at Blacksburg. Very talented D1 potential kickers.
Right, and of course for Blacksburg, Tyler Holmes, I know is a D1 kid right now. He's 5'11", 190. I remember Virginia Tech had a linebacker by the name of Corey Bird. Corey, who ended up playing with the Indianapolis Colts, I think, didn't he, for a year or two. Corey came in at 5. I remember when he came in, he was 5'11", 180 pounds, soaking wet. And they put him on the weightlifting program. He got up to 5'11", what he was about 230 maybe, 235, and he became one heck of a linebacker for the Hokies. And I suspect that that's what they're looking at for is Tyler Holmes as one of those whip linebacker spots, maybe a rover back for Tech. I really hope that he considers Virginia Tech, and I hope Virginia Tech offers him a full ride. I just think he's that kind of kid that can play at this level.
Last I heard, unfortunately, there hasn't been a lot of talk about Tyler Holmes in D1, which is a shame because the kid has got a lot of talent. And it's something that, a lot of D1 schools can use, or even go to AA with Appalachian State or one of those great schools where you can go and get a quality education, because that's really what it's all about. Most of these kids, aren't going to play college ball, and then even the ones that do are not going to make it to the NFL. So it's all about really getting a good education. And if you can do that on a sports scholarship.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just going to say, obviously, that's at Michigan State where, it is all about academics and it's not about football. So just thought I had to throw that in there.
Does your college even play football?
Not now. They did. Hey, but we do have an indoor stadium.
And they use that for what? Balloon practice? What is that about?
Well, it's East Tennessee State has the mini dome. It's one of the few indoor football facilities in the country on campus, which I understand they're going to tear down, and they're going to build. Of course, East Tennessee State's going to put a team on the field again somewhere down the road, and they're going to tear that down, supposedly. So East Tennessee putting a lot of money into the program. Of course, they were in the same conference as Appalachian State, but we won't talk about that. That in the Big Ten.
Right, so it's fair to pick on Michigan State, which people actually have heard of, as opposed to Tennessee something?
Well,
State College?
I got to say something about the directional schools. I mean, look who's number one in the country right now. Southern California. How many national championships has that directional school won?
Yeah,
quite a few.
Success breeds success. We'll give you that to Southern California. What's really disappointing is that they've been very successful at another Michigan school just down the road from Michigan State, and they fell apart this year. So, if you talk about success breeding success, what happened to the University of Michigan?
How about the fact that Notre Dame,
or Notre Dame,
in the Sagarin ratings, is not even ranked above James Madison, Duke, and I can't remember the other school playing up in James Madison tomorrow. But there are three schools right there that are ahead of Notre Dame in the Sagarin ratings. Who would ever thought that?
Well, yeah. I mean, you talk about success. Notre Dame has, of course, had tremendous success. They have their own network for football in NBC, but so they're on television every week. Yet they're, not having a good year. Now, a couple years from now, just like Mike said about North Carolina, a couple years from now, Notre Dame and North Carolina are going to probably be playing for a big game.
All right, here we go. The opening kickoff, and Lord Botetourt kicking it off from right to left. And here's Blacksburg Spencer Lee. Kicks the football down to the 20-yard line where he's brought down right there. Didn't pick up much yardage on the return.
I'm going to have to differ with you, John, there. He ran for probably about 30 yards. Unfortunately, it was
sideline to sideline.
It wasn't up toward the end zone.
So on the tackle was Josh Reed for Lord Botetourt. Blacksburg will take it over 1st and 10. Ball sitting right on the 20, moving from left to right. Here at the beginning of the third period, Blacksburg up 27-3. And Trey Gresh, the quarterback, bringing his Bruin offense up to the line of scrimmage. Twin receivers go to the left. Wide to the right comes Trenton Woodell, the senior. And then the shotgun is Trey Gresh, hands off to Latrell Keys over the right tackle, picks up nothing on the play. Is stacked up right there, and a flag goes down. And on the tackle from his linebacker spot for Lord Botetourt was Josh Reed. So the flags are going to go down. It's going to be against Blacksburg, I believe. Well, they're talking to the Lord Botetourt captain.
The way the flag came out of there, it looks like unnecessary roughness. I'm not sure, but that's the way it came out. It was after the whistle, so it should be a dead ball foul as well.
So the officials discussing it, and let's see what they call here. Oh, it is against. It's a personal foul against both teams, so it's all setting penalties.
I guess that just serves as a warning to the players.
So here we go. It's 2nd and 10 at the 20-yard line. So I think maybe a little bit of jawing. I didn't see any pushing or shoving or anything like that. I think just some words were said, so the officials just to keep it under control threw the flag.
Yeah, there have been some, it looked to me earlier, or late in the second quarter, it looked like there were some extracurricular activities.
Keys and Woodell go wide to the left. Clock starts now, I formation. Aaron Barber to tight end on the right side. Here's Trey Grish, the quarterback, takes a snap and hands off to Latrell Keys. He's stacked up right at the line of scrimmage, and he's met hard by the middle linebacker, Darrell Stone. So it brings up 3rd down, and that was a nice hit, and Lord Botetourt fired up. They haven't given up here. Down by 24 points, you would figure maybe might be a little bit of a lackadaisical attitude, but no, they come out to play.
They came out fired, and that's why you had the unsportsmanlike conduct, is because they're ready to go, and they've stopped them on the first couple of runs.
Here's a crucial 3rd down, and 10 for Blacksburg. Trey Grish back in the pocket, throws it deep down the left side, and it's going to be almost intercepted and dropped right about the 45, so Blacksburg will punt it away, but the officials are bringing it back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Gresh a little underthrew that one. The only one that really had a play on that ball was the defender.
So a flag is down. Let's see what the call is. The official at the middle of the field. Once again, there is unsportsmanlike conduct against Lord Botetourt. So Blacksburg will get a 1st down another way. If they can't pass it or run it, they'll get it by a penalty. So 15 yards, and that once again hurt. And Tater Benson's on the sideline, and now Tater Benson says something to the official. He throws the flag. So there's going to be 15 more against Lord Botetourt. I saw that coming. I saw Tater in his ear. So the official now warning Tater Benson, if he gets one more, he leaves the game.
Yeah. Tater Benson being the head coach for Lord Botetourt.
So mark it up 15 more, and that puts the ball to midfield stripe. So Blacksburg, instead of 3rd down and 10 at their own 20, now have it 1st and 10 at the 50. Here at the beginning of the 3rd period, Trey Grish, the quarterback, up to the line of scrimmage. Wide to the right comes Trenton Woodell. Wide to the left is Greg Keys, I formation. And the official now starts the clock for play. Botetourt with a 5-man front, 2 linebackers, and 4 deep. Here's the handoff, goes to Latrell Keys up the middle, and he's going to get about 6 yards on the carries. He crosses the 45 to the 44. And here's some more words being said by Lord Botetourt defensive lineman. And they're trying to kind of hold down Patrick McNichols.
Yeah, there was Tyler Landis who walked backed away from a Blacksburg player with his hands in the air saying, I didn't do anything.
So here we go, 2nd and 4 for the Bruins. Greg Keys goes wide to the left. And Woodell comes to the right. Here's the tight end, Aaron Barber, to the right side. And there's going to be a offsides against Lord Botetourt. And coming across the line of scrimmage was Patrick McNichols as he hit the Blacksburg lineman on that play. Stephen Ball just knocked him off his feet.
So I'm thinking that it's got to be that there was a fire lit in the locker room for Lord Botetourt, and they've come out fired. They just haven't come out sharp. And Tater's 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct. I think he was backing up his players and trying to fire them up.
Well, that really hurt because it was a 3rd and 10, and now Blacksburg in Lord Botetourt territory. Here's Latrell Keys over the right tackle, and he smashes his way down to the 32, picking up 8 on the play, and Blacksburg offensive line once again opened up some pretty big holes there. Running right behind the number 64, Dale Davis on that play. Dale 6'2", 275, and just a junior. Nice to have that big guy back for another season next year. So 2nd and 2 for Blacksburg. 9:32 to go here in the 3rd period. Bruins up 27-3. And here's Gresh, the center. The quarterback under the center, and he's going to draw the nose tackle offside, and so it's going to be 5 more yards. That's what, the 3rd penalty now for Botetourt here in this drive?
That's got to be at least 4, I think.
That's 4 including Tater's penalty, yeah.
Yeah. 3 players.
So the clock starts. That's a 1st down as they spotted at the 27-yard line.
And Keys has drawn him off a couple of times.
Yep. Keys goes wide to the left. And wide to the right comes Woodell. Here's the handoff, goes to Latrell Keys on the isolation play up the middle out of the I formation. He's hit right at the line of scrimmage, gets nothing. On the tackle was Stone, Darryl Stone, 5'11", 225-pounder, making the play. He's a hard hitter. Pretty good football player there. And it's 2nd down and 10. 8:45 to go. Blacksburg up 27-3. We'll get you another update on several games around, including Royal Retreat and Radford here in the next break, as well as the West Virginia-South Florida game. 2nd and 10 now. Here's Trey Grish, the quarterback under center, and a play-action pass to the left side. Throws it out to the left side. He's going to have Greg Keys. Keys catches it right about the 20-yard line where he's brought down. Clock continues to run. So that's going to be good for about 7 yards. We'll call it 3rd down and about 3. And a nice toss and catch from Trey Grish to Greg Keys.
Yeah, if Trey had looked down the field just a little farther, he would have seen, and I'm looking, I had 82 was the number I called, but I don't see that on the roster here. But he had a player for Blacksburg darting into the end zone if he'd just taken another second and looked back down the field.
So here we go on a 3rd down and 3 play for Blacksburg, right about the 20-yard line of the Cavaliers. And there's a Blacksburg lineman that moved, and I believe that's going to be the tight end. So back it up 5 yards instead of 3rd and 3. It's going to be 3rd and 8. So penalties are much of the story as a part of this drive here.
Yeah, and it seems to be that in a couple of the Blacksburg games that we've talked about before, that coming into the 3rd period, there have been a lot more penalties. Usually, it's been on Blacksburg. And this time, Lord Botetourt decided to take that handle.
All right, here we go. 3rd and long now for the Bruins. And a play-action pass by Trey Grish out to the way back, and he's going to take it in for a touchdown right near the goal line. Yes, he does. He calls a touchdown Blacksburg. Austin Kennedy on that reception, was it?
The official didn't signal right away. It looked like he was running up to mark it right about the 1 foot line.
The one official raised his hands, but that's going to be a penalty on the play.
Coming back.
And I believe it was a block in the back, so bring it back. So they're going to spot the ball. This is a huge penalty. They're going to spot it back at about the 40.
Yeah, they called it pass interference.
Okay. So offensive pass interference by Blacksburg. So instead of 3rd and 8, it's now 3rd and very, very, very long. Talking about 22.
About 22, yeah.
All right, here we go. 3rd down. Trey Grish back in the shotgun, standing back at his own 45. He rolls out to the near side. Another looks for his receiver down the field. He has a receiver open, and I believe he caught him right about the 1-yard line. He did. A nice toss and catch for Trey Grish. 2. Number 26, and that was Josh Reynolds on the reception. So Blacksburg right at the goal line, and Trey Grish getting out of the pocket, running out to the near side of the field and throwing it right down the field, right on the money, and a nice dive and by Josh Reynolds as he caught it right at the 1.
If the intangibles count, if the desire to want it to win the game is what it takes, that's what Blacksburg's showing right now with the way Reynolds just laid out for that to make that catch.
So here we go, 1st and goal for the Bruins. 6:54 to go here in the 3rd period, up 27-3. Trey Grish, the quarterback, hands off to Latrell Keys over right tackle. He's going to blow his way in. Give him 6. Touchdown, Blacksburg. It took a while for the officials to call it, but they did. So with 6:43 to go here in the 3rd period, Blacksburg goes up 33-3.
The official on the opposite side of the field was running into spotted at about the 1-yard line or 1 foot line. The official on the near side of the field with the best view right where the ball went over, just seemed to be sipping coffee before he made that call.
So here comes the extra point attempt by Caleb Violet of the Bruins. And here's the snap. And it's down and the kick is up and it's going to go through. It's going to be good. So with the score, Blacksburg 34, Lord Botetourt 3 with 6:43 to play. Let's pause and hear these words from our sponsors. You're listening to Bruin Football on 101.7 FM.
There's been so many things that's held us down. But now it looks like things are finally coming around. No stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping.
All right, Caleb Violet kicking it off from left to right. And here's the kick, and it's a nice high kick, and it's going to go out of the end zone. And here's your D1 kicker. So he puts it out, and Lord Botetourt will have it 1st and 10, moving from right to left at their own 20.
They've returned 2. They've tried to return another 2. And the rest of them, and those 2 went out of the end zone. And the rest of the kickoffs from Caleb Violet have, been unreturnable into the end zone.
So they're nice high kicks, and that's what a lot of big schools are looking for. 1st and 10 now for the Cavaliers at their own 20. Straub, the quarterback, under center, I formation, 2 tight ends, wide receiver to the right. Handoff goes to the scat back. That's going to be Purdue, and he goes over left tackle, crosses the 25 down to the 28, picks up 8 on the play. Finally tackled there by the outside linebacker, Nathan Hopkins.
I think that's the best I've seen from Lord Botetourt since their second drive of the game back in the first quarter.
So we're going to call it 2nd and 2 at the 28-yard line. 6:15 to go here in the third period, 34-3, Blacksburg up. And here's a handoff goes to Marquise Purdue, and he bowls his way right up to the 30-yard line. That's where his forward progress is going to be before a slew of Bruins make the tackle.
Yeah, we talked about in the first half meeting at Latrell Keys, and this one was the Bruins returning the favor, and I think they had like 3 or 4 more guys there meeting at the running back.
So there's a Lord Botetourt 1st down as they spot it right past the 30. And now a couple of substitutions, and Blacksburg wants to take a timeout, and I'm sure that Vaughn Phipps, the defensive coordinator, wants to make a couple of adjustments as well. We'll take this 30-second break. Let's pause for a moment and hear these words from our sponsors. You're listening to Bruin Football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
These hands hold tight. These hands love. These hands support. These hands create. These hands save lives. To empower your hands to help make a difference, call the American Heart Association at 877-242-4277 for a CPR class near you. These hands are wise.
34-3, Blacksburg leading, 6:06 to go here in the third period. You can catch this replay of Blacksburg High School on WTOB on Mondays at 7 p.m. and Wednesdays at 3. You can also catch it on the web at www.blacksburg.gov. And Lord Botetourt carries the football up to about the 32-yard line, and I believe that was Purdue, so it's 2nd down and 8. So now if you're down by 31 points here late in the third period, what do? You just keep grinding it out. So 2nd and 8 now for the Cavaliers. 2 receivers to the right. Here's the quarterback, Straub under center, unbalanced line to the right. There's a tall sweep to the far side, goes Purdue, and he's going to be hit right about the line of scrimmage and hit hard and brought down hard there by Brandon Brodkin. So it brings up a 2nd down and long, or 3rd down and long now for Lord Botetourt. Clock moving, 5 minutes to go here in the third period. They got a tight end now to the left side. 1 receiver to the right, 1 in the slot, I formation. Straub, the quarterback, under center. The ball sitting right past the 30. Here's the play action pass. He gets some pressure from the backside, and he's knocked down right about the 23-yard line.
Ball's loose. They got it back.
And Tyler Holmes was there on the initial lick. Also, there was Joey Phillips, so it brings up 4th down, and we'll punt it away.
You just see, wow. All I saw was Joey Phillips back heading toward the quarterback, and you could, my imagine of his face was, it's the cat going after the canaries. Look at his chops, because the quarterback's standing there, and Phillips is coming at him from the quarterback's blind side. never had a chance.
Here's Troy McNeil. The kick is blocked, and it's going to be picked up by Blacksburg, and that's going to be Tyler Holmes into the end zone. Touchdown, Bruins. So another special teams play by Blacksburg here in the third period with 4:09 to go. And Tyler Holmes picks it up right around the 10-yard line, takes it in for 6 points, and now Blacksburg up 40-3.
Yeah, you're talking about being down by 37 now, and how do you keep going when nothing you're trying is working very well? Blacksburg seems to have an answer for everything, and they've been putting the pressure on the punter all night. Got the one block earlier, and now the one block for a touchdown.
So Kayla Violet will attempt the extra point to make it a 38-point lead by the Bruins here in the third period. And here's the snap. It's down, the kick is up, and it's going to sail through. It's going to be good. So, with the score, Blacksburg 41, Lord Botetourt 3. Let's pause and hear these words. You're listening to Blacksburg High School football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
Honey, would you get me some ice cream?
Ice cream?
Please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Some things you just can't do without. It happens every night, all across America.
What's up? Hey, thank you, Tom. And man, the West Virginia Mountaineers down by 14.
Mountaineers down by 14.
Ooh. We'll keep you an update on that. And, of course, Radford's still trailing by 3. And the kickoff went out of the end zone, and Lord Botetourt will have it 1st and 10 on their own 20, moving from right to left. 4 minutes to go here in the third period, and Bruins up 41-3. Here's Straub, the quarterback under center, I formation, 2 tights, and the handoff goes to Purdue, and he's going to be stacked up right around the line of scrimmage, and he's hit hard by Brodkin, and
Brodkin
picks
finally
up
got
nothing
him.
on the play.
Yeah, Brodkin finally got him, knocked him backwards after he bounced off a couple of the Bruins. Brodkin managed to wrap him up and drive him back.
That's a picture-perfect tackle right
It
there.
was, yes, picture-perfect. Oh, Kodak moment.
You can catch that on WTOB, by the way.
That's right, because they got pictures.
Absolutely. So clock winding down. Bruins a commanding lead here in this third period. Blacksburg showing a 5-man front, showing that 5-3 defense of Von Phipps, and here's the handoff once again goes to Purdue over right tackle, and he's going to escape a tackle to the line of scrimmage, gets out to the 25 and picks up about 5 on the play. It's going to bring up 3rd down and long.
Yeah, he broke through one but didn't escape Tyler Holmes.
And of course, Blacksburg is going to get into district play. And I'm going to tell you what, this district is just tough. That's all you can say about it. It's tough when you got Pulaski and Salem, and you got Cave Spring and Hidden Valley, Christiansburg.
Even going to Northside next Friday night.
And Northside. Got a lot of games left. They're just going to be tough ones. Here's Straub, the quarterback, play action pass, and he has a lot of pressure. He's knocked down back at the 19-yard line, and Joey Phillips from an outside linebacker spot puts the hurting on Straub, and it brings up 4th down. You can hear that up here.
I did. I was watching the receiver. I was isolated on the receiver on that play, making a nice run and had good coverage, which left the quarterback nowhere to throw it, and just to stand there and take that hit, which you're right, all I heard was the hit.
Wow. So 4th down, and here's McNeil standing back at his own 6. Now he had the last one blocked, and you're thinking about this one. So Blacksburg taking a timeout, and I'm sure that Dave Chris is thinking about going after this one, maybe? Maybe not. We will see. So let's take this 30-minute or 30-second timeout. Boy, that'd be a long break, wouldn't it? Let's take this 30-second timeout. You're listening to Blacksburg High School football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
I want to make a difference, and change happens one person at a time.
Giving a little can go a long way.
I give to the United Way because I believe in helping in my community wherever I can.
Back at Bill Brown Stadium, 2:02 to go here in the third, 41-3 Blacksburg leading this. Now here's McNeil standing back at a 6. Here comes the pressure. Here's the kick, and it's an end-over-end kick. Hits at about the 45, crosses the 50, rolls down to the 41-yard line where the Bruins will take it over 1st and 10. And I'm sure at this point Dave Chris is thinking about putting a couple of new guys in there, but yes, it is Josh Parcell coming into the game for Blacksburg.
And another flag down.
2 flags down.
On the punt, Blacksburg did come after it again.
3 flags are down, so there's a... Taylor Benson is out yelling at the officials, so that flag came down.
I was saying I don't see but one Blacksburg player over there, and he's away from where the flag fell out.
4 flags are down.
As for the punting, we'll get to the flags in a second.
Wow.
We'll sort this out. Blacksburg did come after it again. Had only Greg Keys back to return it. The punter, or the Lord Botetourt, the Cavaliers, actually picked up all the rushers and managed to get the punt away, and Greg Keys just lets the ball dribble down. But it looks like field position is going to improve for Blacksburg with 4 flags on the field.
Well, it's why they're having that meeting here with the midfield stripe. Tomorrow, Virginia Tech taking on North Carolina, homecoming for the Hokies. And you can hear the broadcast, the Virginia Tech broadcast starting at 10:30, Bill and Mike, on the Virginia Tech ISP Sports Network. And you can hear that right on our sister station, 105.3 The Bear. And Virginia Tech looking at a Carolina team that has struggled. And I think everybody knew that when Butch Davis took over the program, that this program was in trouble. Now, what can they do with that team? What he's going to be able to do with that team here in the future is going to be another story. And Carolina has always recruited well out of the state of Virginia. We'll have to wait and see. So the officials now, the ball is spotted right at the 40. Now, the officials have called, I believe, an unsportsmanlike conduct, a couple of them included in there. So the officials are meeting back at the Blacksburg 40 to discuss this. Dave Christ has his team huddled up here on the sideline. Taylor Benson was yelling at the official. In fact, Taylor Benson is standing about 15 yards out here, out on the field, wondering what's going on. And he's still talking to the officials. So here's the mark. Now the official's going to put it down at the Lord Botetourt 42-yard line. Well, right at the 40. So how they figured that out, I don't know. The ball's sitting on the 40.
Well, it looks like 2 unsportsmanlike. Looks like they gave him 30 yards.
Well, that's 40 yards from the 40. 40 to the 40.
That's 20.
That's 20. Well, it seems that's 20 yards. So how do you?
Sorry. So they're 2 10-yard penalties must have been.
Okay. All right, here we go.
And there's still a conversation with the referee and Taylor.
Taylor Benson's talking to the official and asking for some clarification. I didn't see all the calls either. I know there was an unsportsmanlike conduct in there, but were there two holding penalties? 1 holding penalty, which is the 10-yarder. And then you had a unsportsmanlike conduct, which would have been 15. And then went that direction, so that's 25 yards.
Unsportsmanlike. Ready for play again.
2 unsportsmanlike. There we go. All right, 1st and 10 at the 40 of Lord Botetourt. Here's Blacksburg with the football. Trey Grish, the quarterback, under center. 2 receivers to the right in the I formation.
Fumble.
And there's a fumble by Parcell, the quarterback, and he goes out to the right side. He's going to get right back to the original line of scrimmage as he stays on his feet and brought down by numerous players from Lord Botetourt on the tackle for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, he's taking the blame for that. He as I talked about earlier, the quarterback-center exchange hasn't been very clean all night. I mean, there are sometimes it's been clean, sometimes it hasn't. This time he started playing before the ball was cleanly in his hands for Josh Parcell.
Let's see if we can't get a couple of the new numbers in here for Blacksburg. Mark Henson at wide receiver to the left, and Walter Gakana is wide to the right. Here's Parcell, the quarterback, under center, tight end to the right, and head off is going to go to the running back, and that is Eric Howard. He's tripped up right about the 38. He get a couple on the play. It's going to be 3rd down and 8 now for the Bruins. Clock winding down, 35 seconds to go here in the 3rd period. Bruins up 41-3. And Dave Chris, I'm sure, is going to let the clock run out here. So Parcell huddling up his Bruin offense. Jake Moinson in the lineup. He goes wide to the left. Also out there is going to be David Blackwell. And in the I formation at fullback is David Bells, and Eric Howard is the tailback. Here's Parcells, the quarterback, under center on the play action pass. Rolls out to his left side to lefty. Throws it down the field to the far side of the field. It's going to be incomplete. And he was looking for David Blackwell down about the 25-yard line, so it's going to bring up a 4th down and 8 now for the Bruins.
Right before the snap, I was going to say, remember, Parcells is in there, but Parcells can still throw it. He's got a different spin on it coming out of the left hand, but he's still got a really good arm, and it's a great team player.
So that's the end of the 3rd period. With the score of Blacksburg 41, Lord Botetourt 3. Let's pause for a moment and hear these words from our sponsors. You're listening to Bruin Football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
So we've done some things where he jumps off from the side. We've done some things passing him back and forth. We've done some activities where he floats on his back, on his stomach. I think swimming is a fun thing you can do with your kid. And I think it's good for kids to learn about being in the water.
The Water Babies class is one of the many classes that the Blacksburg Parks and Rec Department has to offer for you and your child. Call 961-1135 or visit www.blacksburg.gov/recreation.
A 28-yard punt will be 1st and 10 for Lord Botetourt at their own 10-yard line.
Hey, thank you, Tom. And Caleb Violet punts it down to the Lord Botetourt 10-yard line. So 1st and 10 now for the Cavs. And once again, boy, Radford taking it on the chin tonight, 31-7. But we'll retreat the team that's going to be playoff bound.
Yeah. I didn't expect Radford to do that, and expected more from them, and they will come back and they will give more. I'm sure there's timeout on the field here in Blacksburg for Lord Botetourt, but they will come back and they will, they're going to make a game probably of that one. Lord Botetourt's still working to make a game out of this one.
Absolutely, and once again, Blacksburg up 41-3 here with 11:22 to go here in the 4th period. And once again, if you're keeping an update here on the score of West Virginia, this is huge for college football. If West Virginia right now trailing 14-0 to South Florida, if this keeps up, and we get into the second half, you got to remember this game's being played down in Tampa, and it's the first time this game that USF has sold out a game in that stadium.
Yeah.
So, and it's a huge game.
Hey, they're the Bulls, right?
They're the Bulls, yep.
And you saw it last year. I remember seeing them play Louisville a couple of years ago, and you had the feeling that South Florida, there was so much talent in Florida. It's all coming down to South Florida. Miami and University of Florida, a lot of talent there, and the league spreads around to a lot of other colleges.
Here comes Botetourt now, 1st and 10 at their own 10, and Straub, the quarterback, now on the quarterback keeper, goes up the middle, crosses the 20-yard line, and falls down about the 21. So it's going to be a 1st and 10, 11 yards on the carry for the junior quarterback. 10:58 to go here in the ball game. 41-3. The Bruins up, and there's once again a whole new defense in there.
Yeah, for Blacksburg through 3 quarters, first downs. Just the Cavs only have 3. Bruins have 15. That says a lot right there.
So Straub, the quarterback, number 8. In the white jersey with silver pants and a red helmet. Hands off to the running back. He's going to be stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a loss of a couple of yards on the play. And met there by Jared Edmond, the defensive lineman, 5'8", 240-pound junior. Woo! That's a load to block right there. Nice play by the D lineman. And it brings up 2nd down and 12. Let's see if I can get all these guys in here in the defensive backfield for Robert Sterrett back in there. Also is Spencer Linkett, safety. Walter Gacana back in there as one of the cornerbacks. Here's the quarterback, Straub, back in the pocket, throws across the middle, has it complete to his tight end. Complete to Hunter Foley right about the 29-yard line, so he picks up some positive yardage on the play. It's going to be 3rd down, and let's call it 3.
Spencer Link with the stop on that one.
Clock is moving, 9:38 to go.
See Austin Kennedy, number 8 in the game for Blacksburg.
Evan Sunshine. Been waiting to call that name, Evan at defensive end. 6'1", 170-pound junior. So on a 3rd down and 3 now for the Cavaliers. Straub, the quarterback, with 2 tight ends, single setback. And he's going to keep the ball, rolls out to the left side, finds some running room, crosses the 30, and he's going to pick up the 1st down as he falls forward to the 35. So Botetourt gets one of the few 1st downs they've had in this ball game. So Skinner makes the play.
The actor. Mentioned Devin in the play last year.
No, there you go. 1st and 10 at the 35. And out there also in the defensive line, if I can pick up some of the numbers here for the Bruins. I will. Here's Schaub, the quarterback, twin receivers to the right. In the single setback, and Straub now rolls out to the near side, and he's going to throw it. It's going to be complete to the tight end, and once again on the reception was Hunter Foley. And he takes the ball down to the 48-yard line to Lord Botetourt. And then the play for quarterback at that one time was the number 3 Marquise Purdue. Looked pretty good there.
Yeah, he did. I was watching Austin Kennedy, number 8 for Blacksburg, who had a beat on that pass and made the tackle.
So Purdue is going to come out. Now the coach, Tatum Benson, sends him back in. And so here is Marquise Purdue under center. Twin receivers to the right, the ball sitting on the right hash at their own 49-yard line on a 1st down play. Here is Purdue. He's going to throw it deep down the middle of the field. Has a receiver open. It's incomplete, in and out of the hands of Hunter Foley once again. But boy, that was a pretty pass by the junior running back.
Really good pass. Robert Starrett on the coverage, and just a hair overthrown, just off his fingertips.
So Marquise Purdue showing his versatility. And you go back to last week's game. Marquise led the Cavaliers with 155 yards rushing, so you know this young man can play. All right, here we go on a 2nd and 10. A quarterback keeper, and he's hit right about the line of scrimmage, and on the play was Brodkin. So Purdue picks up nothing. A nice open field tackle, if you will. And it's now 3rd and long. 6:55 to go, and the clock is moving here in the 4th period. And Dave Chris getting a lot of these young players a lot of playing time here tonight, and these guys are showing up to play.
They are. They get a lot of time on the practice squad, and sometimes you just don't get into the games, and it's nice to actually get a chance to get in and play the game and make a difference.
All right, here we go. 3rd and long now for Lord Botetourt. Trailing 41-3 they are. Here's Purdue, the quarterback. He's going to be hit back behind the line of scrimmage and dragged down by Brodkin back at about the 35-yard line. So once again, Blacksburg bringing the house, the kitchen sink, the carport, everything. And he's sacked back at the 36-yard line, so it brings up 4th down and long. But let's see what the officials are going to do. They're going to spot it
Timeout
back at the 44. They said he was down as forward progress, stopped right there at the 44-yard line, but Brodkin made one heck of a hit, and they just carried him back another 10 yards.
They did. And, yeah, you got to give him the forward progress. It was the wind just picked up blowhard papers all over. You got to give him the forward progress because he did have a good I guess what I'm thinking about in that run is he was making a run toward the sideline. He was running a little bit backwards away from the line of scrimmage, and he slowed down to try and make the pass. He's a right-handed quarterback running toward his left side, so he had to slow down a little bit to make that pass. And at that point, the defense just caught up with him and decided to carry him off.
Now, there's a football coach for you, Vaughn Phipps. Now, he's yelling at his guys, getting them fired up down there. And telling these guys, listen, you want to be here, good play, but we still have a lot to work on.
Yeah. And these guys are the future of, a lot of them are the future of Blacksburg Bruins football.
Once again, you can catch the replay of this game and every Blacksburg High School home game on WTOB Channel 2 on Mondays at 7 p.m. and Wednesdays at 3 p.m. And you can also watch them anytime you want to on the web at www.blacksburg.gov. All right, here we go, forward and long now for Lord Botetourt with 5:54 to go here in the ball game. And here's the quarterback back as Straub back in the lineup, and he's going to throw it deep down to the right side. He has it complete to Casey Riddle, and Riddle carries the defender down to about the 21-yard line. They're going to spot him out at about the 25. And you know what? We haven't heard much from Casey Weddle tonight.
No, and we expected to hear a lot more from him. Blacksburg has caged him up pretty well. He got that run in about 5 yards after the catch before the Bruins could knock him out of bounds.
So 1st and 10 for Botetourt at the 25 of the Bruins. And that's what Von Phipps did not want to have happen on the 4th and 15. Twin receivers to the left. Here's a tight end to the right. Straub back in the lineup now, the starting quarterback. And he's going to hand off to Purdue. He scoots up the middle, has some running room, crosses the 20 down to the 15, and there's 10 yards on the carry by the senior running back, Marquise Purdue. So it's going to be 1st and 10 for Botetourt.
And it's nice to see him keep working at it, keep moving the ball. It's still a coaching situation at the very least to show you guys how to keep working for it and, still working on game film so you have things to improve in practice next week. Which is, of course, what Vaughn was just so upset about.
Exactly. So 1st and 10 at the Blacksburg 15. 2 receivers to the right. Straub, the quarterback, under center. Tight end to the left, I formation. And Marquise Purdue is the running back, and he takes the handoff. He's smacked right about the line of scrimmage. And making the initial lick was Devin Skinner bringing him down. So it brings up 2nd down. We're going to say about a loss of about a yard, so 2nd and 11.
And good sportsmanship on Devin Skinner, too. He was trying to help the player up, didn't quite get there, and didn't want to risk a penalty, the referee walking up on him. But, nice sportsmanship, trying to help the player up. And then a little pat on the butt to say, good job, nice run.
Casey Weddle and Hunter Foley wide to the left. Straub, the quarterback, back in the pocket, throws it out to the wide side of the field, and it's going to fall incomplete. Casey Weddle was open, and Straub just missed him. So now it's 3rd down. We're going to call it 13. For the Cavaliers, 3:37 to go here in the ball game. And Blacksburg leading this 41-3. They'll go to 3-1 on the season, Harley.
Heading to north side next Friday night.
Heading north side down in Roanoke. Getting a little bit chilly. Steve's up here scratching or saying it's cold. I can't figure out which. All right, here we go. It's 3rd down and long now for the Cavs. Here's Straub, the quarterback, back in the pocket. Rolls out to his left. Now he's going to be sacked behind the line of scrimmage. Throws it out to Purdue. Purdue catches it right about the 20, crosses the 15, moves the ball down to the 12. Boy, that was a heck of a play by Marquise Purdue.
If there's one thing they tell you not to do, that's it. You're getting sacked. Don't just toss the ball up in the air. I mean, that had danger, potential interception, and return for a touchdown written all over it. Fortunately for Lord Botetourt, it was a reception completion for them and a gain. But
So
very, very dangerous play.
A great play by Purdue. 4th down and 8 for the Cavaliers. The ball sitting on the Blacksburg 12. Here's Straub, the quarterback, back in the pocket. Looks for a receiver, throws it out to the far side, has it complete, and it's going to be a touchdown. Lord Botetourt, where do they spot it? They do. Nope. They spot it right on the goal line.
And it was a good spot. It was right where it should. Official marked it right where it should have been.
So he has it complete to his wideout. And that was Darius Randolph on the reception. So now it's 1st and goal right on the 1. 2 receivers to the right. Clock is moving. 2 minutes to go here in this ball game. Straub, the quarterback, under center. And the quarterback sneaking. He'll go in for the TD. Touchdown, Lord Botetourt. So with 1:55 to go here in the 4th period, Botetourt puts 6 points on the board, and it's now 41-9.
Yeah, they kept working for it, and they earned that one. But a nice job for Blacksburg for getting their second team some time to play and some time to work and some time to get game experience.
So here comes the extra point by Troy McNeil for the Cavaliers. And here's the snap. It's down. The kick is up, and it's going to go through. It's going to be good. Boy, it's a pretty good kicker. We've seen some good kickers this year, but flag is down. Has this been the year of kickers? I know Steve's been around high school football around here. Ben, there's been some pretty good guys here. And let's see what the penalty is. Unsportsmanlike conduct against Lord Botetourt. So they'll knock that off on the kickoff.
On the kickoff, dead ball, personal foul.
So it was after the place of the extra point was good. So anyway, we're going to take this timeout as well with the score of Blacksburg 41 Lord Botetourt 10. Let's pause and hear these words from our sponsors. You're listening to Bruin Football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
Whether it's arts and culture, community events, great places to eat and shop, exciting athletics. You'll find it all in Blacksburg, the place to be.
Hey, thanks, Tom. 41-10 here, 1:55 to go in this football game here at Bill Brown Stadium. And here's the kickoff, and it's going to go on the ground, picked up by the up man for Blacksburg, and I believe, is that 88? Trenton Woodell. No, excuse me, 86, Shane Jackson.
Yeah, and poor Shane. I mean, he did a nice job catching the ball and then ran a little bit toward his right and then just looked like, oh my gosh, I better just get down on the ground, which is exactly what he did. So good job fielding the ball, gives Blacksburg first down on the Cavaliers 48.
Okay, so Parcell back in the lineup, the left-hander in the I formation, and Jennings now the running back for the Bruins. Also in there is Brad Graves at fullback. Parcell's calling the signals. And the handoff goes to Jennings over right tackle. He's going to push his way across the 45 of Lord Botetourt down to the 43. And picks up a good 6 yards on the carry, second down and 4.
And a nice job, too. He didn't stop. He got when he first met resistance, he kept driving his legs and picked up another 3 yards.
Mark Henson in there, Shane Jackson in there in the lineup. Also at wideout is Nicholas Carroll, and also out there wide out is going to be Zachary Woods. Then the Blacksburg player is down.
At 65. Brinkley Peters.
Yeah, he was standing up and he tried to walk and he just kind of laid back down again. So I think he got a cramp. Looks like a cramp. 41-10, 37 seconds to go here, and what's very interesting, and I want to thank Tom for those updates tonight, and West Virginia trailing. They had not scored in the first half.
Brinkley is good for him. He's now walking it off the field. You're right, John. I think it's a cramp.
So 2nd and 4 for the Bruins. Twin receivers to the left and the right, and the shotgun is going to be Parcell, and the lone setback is going to be Jennings. Here's the snap back to the senior quarterback, and hands off to Jennings. It goes right up the gut. He's hit right at the line of scrimmage and brought down there. So nothing on the carry, 3rd down and 4. Clock is rolling, and that's going to be the last play of the game. So, with the final score, Blacksburg 41 and Lord Botetourt 10. Here's the Blacksburg High School football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.